resume before you start emailing the resume out. Because sometimes it may be errors on the resume. As soon as an employer sees like a misspelled word, a typo anywhere, that resume is going in the trash. So that's key. Also, having an effective cover letter and knowing how to look at the job posting that you read and write a cover letter that will sell yourself and your skills to the employer based on that job posting. That is key. And then once you finally get the interview, be able to sell your strengths in the whole interview process, because that's the biggest challenge. Companies say, all right, he has a 3.9 or 3.8 GPA, but he's not really telling me why or convincing me through his cover letter why I should invite him or her in for the interview. So I think those are key. Make sure you have a quality resume. You want to mix up the action words that you use to describe the resume. Don't just tell me that you were a manager. Employees want metrics. You were a manager who managed 25, a staff of 25. Don't just tell me you helped raise money for the company. Tell me that you brought in $3 million for the company in 2012. Give them metrics.
That goes on the resume?
Absolutely. They want numbers. They want to know how many people you manage, what type of monies you earn the company. Give them the GPA. They also want to see extracurricular activities, that you were a part of clubs. That shows them that you have leadership skills. The companies on Wall Street, they tell me right away, we don't want anybody that wasn't a part of a club while they went to school. They want to see that you were a president, a treasurer of a club. They want to see that you did internships. These are all key points to help you get the interview.
Thank you. Anyone else want to add to that?
Yeah, just to echo that and add something here, and I'll share with you some feedback that we received from employers who have tabled at our career fairs. And I'm happy to share this because it's not endemic to Fordham in particular, because I've worked for 2 schools, and this seems to be problematic with students in particular, which is know something about the company that you are applying to. They really need to know that you've targeted them for a reason. And it could be, something very flattering to say that you were the innovator of this certain product or this certain idea, and I'm drawn to that. Just having that little slice, that little piece of knowledge, that there was something that drew you to that particular organization needs to be exhibited as you compose your application materials and when you go to meet them in person.
Great.
And I'd say believe that you deserve to be there. It's very simple. And understand that there's a weeding process that happens with resumes and cover letters, and by the time you get to the interview, it's just you and maybe 3 or 4 other people. So at that point, you need to believe that you deserve to be there because the employer already does. You're just closing the deal. You're just going in there and convincing them that they made the right decision by bringing you in. So.
And I think some of the oldest things that you can read in any career book are never going to go out of fashion. I mean, I sat down for an interview for someone, I shouldn't say for what, but they told me you were the first person who's ever interviewed me in my 10 years of doing this job that came in a suit. And I was working 3 days later for her. That never goes out of style. Being on time never goes out of style. That will always be in fashion, no matter what happens in the career. Thank you, please, hello. It's great to be here. I appreciate your time. All statements that should be rolling off of your tongue, because that's never going to go away.
Aren't people in certain jobs, like managers who interview you, aren't they picky? Because I had a few people are picky. I forgot what store it was. It's some retail store by 72nd and 73rd on Madison. She was all into me and everything, and she was like, okay, I like how you work, you have a lot of customer service, visual, you very strong, with a lot of things, you quick worker, because I'm very quick in learning everything. I told her all my strengths and everything, like you said, and she was just saying, okay, you know, I wish I had enough time and all that stuff. And then she gave me her card, and that was it. Like, was it she interested for real, or she was just saying it just to make me feel better? Because I know there's certain people that are picky in jobs, and they're looking for certain people with certain qualities.
Well, here's the thing. It's always going to be super, super competitive. And I'm sure we all know this from different experiences because you help people find jobs and because I'm always looking for jobs for myself. And the fact that you got a business card from her, great. Have you emailed her?
I did call her. She
Great.
did. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you cannot redo a first impression. Okay? I don't know what you looked like, but when you started talking of your dress, I already know the attitude. So, whatever strengths you might have wanted to bring to them, it might have been too strong. Okay? And she might have been polite. Normally, a lot of jobs are not going to call you back and say, sorry, you didn't get it. You don't hear from them, you know you didn't get it. Plain and simple. But if you get a business card, like Andrew said, you email them back, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. I hope to hear from you soon. You know, addressing them and then leave it alone. As far as your friend or something being in the middle of it, I wouldn't even bother with that. Because that's your friend's perception of what happened, and then they're giving it to you. It's like telephone. You know, by the time you get it, something else has been added on and taken away from it. So that's neither here nor there. If you wanted to go into one of these companies, again, something simple that is always in style, a pair of black pants, a white shirt. You don't necessarily have to have a tie. But if you're fashion forward or you're too aggressively dressed, it sets people off. Okay, now whether it could be alarming or you may not be, like you said, looking the way they want you to look, but it's more relaxing and it puts people kind of like not on guard, where when you come in and you're kind of dressed looking like everybody else that's in there, all right? And like you said, you want to find out something about the company. If it was a great company, something like that, you want to find out something about it. And then you hit on, well, you know, I know you do this and I think I could help out with that, whatever it is with the company, all right? So don't give up. That same strip, there's a whole lot of other stores up there. You start all over again, you know, and you go in and out and introduce yourself, tell them what you want to do, how you can assist them in making their company a better place. Like you said, you want to sell yourself. You want to make them think they got to get a piece of you because you're the best thing that walked in the door. But you have to do it so that you don't set them off. You don't make them feel uncomfortable. You know, I always tell students and I always tell anybody that's looking for a job, you can get in the door any way you want. Afterwards, you can put a bone in your nose. You know, a lot of the young people have piercings, tattoos, the gauges all over the place. These are things that a lot of people are not used to and they're not accustomed to. So you have to be able to get in the door first. Once you get in the door, you can do whatever you want.
And always have
That
a
just
smile.
wasn't the job for you. That's all. There's others out there. That wasn't the job for you. That's all. But you keep at it. Because like you said, you practice and practice and practice, you're going to be able to walk in, interview, and they'll call you. They'll call you.
And I heard what you had said towards the end of what you were stating as far as you didn't feel comfortable as far as what other people in the place were wearing. Let me give you this piece of information about myself that should help you. I spoke at the White House in 1993 and I was wearing Payless shoes. Do you think that they cared? No. What they were there for was the message that I was bringing, and that was it. People will pay attention to what you pay attention to. If you feel overly conscious of the indescribable things that are just irrelevant to most people, as long as you're dressed well and you don't smell, you're fine. As long as you come there with the intent and purpose of doing good business, providing great customer service, there are 4 C's: charm, customer service, I think charisma, and confidence. As long as you do those 4, you're fine. As long as you exude that, you're fine. Because
I'm a very
people will
jolly
hear
person.
you.
That's why I love to like smile, laugh, be myself. I just
Smile
bring
like
a
they're
lot of
writing out your
energy.
check already. How are you doing? Absolutely.
I will say one thing about there's a condition to that, if you know, because Lisa and I talk about this all the time at the high school. Thing about charisma, is that, and just being a young person going into a job for the first time, this was me, and I walked a fine line of it the entire time that my career was really getting started. Whatever career you're in, got any kind of creativity or passion about what you're doing, it's very easy to walk in somewhere and give someone else the impression that you think that you should change things up from the way they have been done. I've been a makeup artist for 10 years, and I started working for NBC recently. And the thing about that was, what they do, the way they do makeup for their studios, for their lighting, differs between each of the studios, and there's people who've been doing that for 20 years. And so no matter what I've done or who I've worked with, every time I walked into that building, it was a new day. And thinking, oh, this person's on TV all the time, but I'm a makeup artist all the time. I know what's best, or I should do it this way. Sometimes different, sometimes my way, which may just be just as good but might be different, isn't necessarily better. So before you offer too many ideas, maybe it sounded to me like you might have been suggesting or hinting that at that particular interview. Before you start sharing too many of your own ideas, it's good to learn what their ideas are first.
So basically, like, ask them, like,
how do you like to do things here?
Yeah.
What's the experience when a customer comes into your store? When I'm doing an expense report for your company, how do I fill this out? Simple,
About that.
whatever the case may be, I don't really know this. I just figured there's expense reports.
There are always, and budget.
also,
If you could leave one last little thing with the young people, what would that be?
Persistence and tenacity. Just, if it's worth it to you, go for it. Continue to go for it, even when doors close, even when you think everybody on the planet's going to say no to you. Continue.